In the evening, Jane, Lassiter, and Venters rode out onto the sage. Millie Ern's grave was a long way from Witherstein Farm and the village. Lassiter looked at the grave for a long time. Then he shook his head sadly. Without speaking, he rode away. Venters turned to Jane. "I can't stay in Cottonwoods now," he said. "If I stay, I'll have to kill Tull, or he'll kill me. Lassiter lives out on the sage. So must I. But I'll be nearby," Venters went on. "I am your friend, Jane, and so is Lassiter. You need friends, Jane. You have many enemies." That night, both Lassiter and Venters slept out on the sage. Venters woke at dawn. He stood up. He could see Lassiter far away. Venters got on his horse and rode towards him. The two men shook hands. They looked across the slopes of purple sage. "Utah is a wild place," Lassiter said. "The people have many secrets, and strangers are not welcome here. There will be trouble very soon." "Yes, you're right," Venters said. "I stayed near Cottonwoods last night. I saw rustlers. They were Oldring and his men." "I know Oldring," Lassiter said quietly, "and Oldring knows me. He steals more cattle than any other rustler in Utah." "I also saw Tull and his men ride out of Cottonwoods last night," Venters said. "I think that Tull is going to join Oldring. I think they're going to steal Jane's herds." "Maybe that's true," Lassiter replied. "The men of Utah are cruel to their women," Venters said. "Women cannot have land or freedom, but Jane Witherstein is a rich woman. She has land, cattle, and horses. She wants to be free. She wants to marry a man who she loves. So the men of Cottonwoods want to take everything away from Jane Witherstein." "What can you tell me about Millie Ern?" Lassiter asked suddenly. "Millie was brought here with her baby girl," Venters replied. "She was a prisoner in Cottonwoods, and so was her child. Millie hated Utah and its people. Millie tried to fight them. But these people were too strong for her," Venters went on. "They took her child away. Millie never saw her child again. Millie became thin and ill. At last she died." "Who brought Millie here? Do you know his name?" Lassiter asked. "No, I don't," Venters said. "I think Jane knows, but she will not tell her people's secrets. She will not tell you, a stranger." Lassiter did not reply. "Come, let's get some water for the horses," Venters said. "I'll take you down to Amber Spring. The spring is on Jane's land. It's the best water for miles." From the spring, the two men could look down on Cottonwoods. The village was quiet. The two men began to ride towards Witherstein Farm. As they reached the farmhouse, Venters saw Jane. She was waving at the two men and calling to them. "There's Jane," Venters said. "I reckon there's something wrong," Lassiter said. "Come on." Jane began to run towards them. "Byrne, Lassiter, I need your help," Jane cried. "What's wrong?" Venters asked. "The red herd has gone," Jane replied. "Rustlers have taken my red herd." "How many steers are there in the herd, ma'am?" asked Lassiter. 2,500. "Oldring must have taken them. Where can he hide so many cattle?" Lassiter asked. "I'm not sure," Venters replied. "Some people think that Oldring takes cattle to Deception Pass, but no one has found the rustlers' secret hideout." "Let me help you, Jane," Venters went on. "Let me take one of your fast horses. 2,500 cattle will leave a wide trail through the sage. I'll follow the rustlers. I'll find your red herd for you." Jane walked quickly towards her stables. She kept her 3 best horses here, Wrangle, Black Star, and Bells. The two men followed. Lassiter looked at the horses carefully. "These are the finest horses I ever saw, ma'am," Lassiter said. "I'll take Wrangle," Venters said to Jane. "He's strong, and I think he's the fastest." Venters put a saddle on the big brown horse. Then he rode quickly away to follow the trail of the red herd. Lassiter was going to follow Venters, but Jane stopped him. She thought quickly. She needed a strong man to help her on the farm. Perhaps this gunman could help her. But she did not want Lassiter to kill more men. Perhaps she could stop him killing. She looked up at him and smiled. "Lassiter, I need help," Jane said quietly. I cannot look after the farm alone. Many of my riders have gone. They are afraid of Tull. Now the rustlers have taken my red herd. Will you stay and work for me? Will you be my rider?" "Well, you're in trouble, ma'am," Lassiter replied. "I reckon you need a friend." "You say you hate my people," Jane said slowly. "I need your help, but I do not want you to kill anyone. Please give me your guns." Lassiter looked down at the beautiful young woman and smiled. He shook his head. "I came here to find a man," Lassiter said. "I came here to kill him. No, ma'am. I keep my guns." "Very well," Jane said at last. Then she smiled. "Please don't call me ma'am," she said. "My name is Jane." "Well, Jane, tell me how I can help you," Lassiter replied. Jane began to explain. "I have 2 herds of cattle, my red herd and my white herd. Oldring and his cattle rustlers have stolen my red herd. Tull helped them, I think. My riders work for Tull now, not me. My white herd is in the next valley, behind that hill," Jane went on. "I must go and see that they are safe. Will you ride out with me to see them?" Lassiter agreed. Jane rode Black Star, her favorite horse. Black Star galloped like the wind. Lassiter and Jane rode side by side across the sage. Soon the 2 riders had reached the top of the hill. There they stopped.
The picture sequence